Hey, man.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good.
Yeah?
Can't complain.
You could.
Yeah, good.
Especially
yeah.
after what happened with the airplane
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah,
So you flew in from Tampa.
Tampa, then Dallas, and I stuck in Dallas.
You got stuck in Dallas?
Yeah.
What happened?
So this girl in the back, she must have like tripped and hit her head, and then the captain wasn't.
Wait, so this was on the tarmac in Dallas?
Yeah.
I thought it was
like
in
we
Florida.
started leaving.
So for everyone who doesn't know, because it wasn't here when the cameras were rolling, what happened with your flight?
So basically, I got to Dallas, and then we left. Like the plane left the where it's like attached to the where everybody leaves.
Yeah.
And then we started turning around because this girl must have tripped, like going to the bathroom, and she like hit her head.
Damn.
And then EMS had to come, and then they were like, "Oh, on another note, the captain's not cleared." So I guess the captain must have been like, sometimes you do like a check with the captains. I don't know what it is, but like, yeah, he wasn't cleared, so I had to get a whole new captain. Now American Airlines has like, I don't know what you call it, but it's like basically like they're not hiring as many people right now, so they're paying people more but less pilots.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to get this guy all the way from like Dallas is a big airport.
Yeah.
So, like, they had to get this guy all the way from, like, D all the way to A to fly the plane.
Which is like 25 minutes right there. Yeah.
So we wait for that, plus EMS. And then the guy from EMS, another note, he lost his phone on the plane. So I'm like, bro, you're supposed to be helping this girl. She just hit her head and, like, you lost your phone? Like, what are you on your phone for?
He was like looking for his phone?
Yeah. Like, he must have dropped it on the plane. Then we had to wait for that.
It kind of sounds like a circus.
Yeah, it was a shit show.
Yeah. And how was everyone sitting down? What was their
Everyone
temperament
was
like?
pissed. They're like, you should give us food. They should give us a refund. And then they were like, oh, like, and then they turned into an upsell. They were like, oh, because of this, like, if you sign up for our credit card, you won't get 60,000 miles. You get 100,000. I'm like, dude, that's a crazy upsell.
That's awesome. Did they, when you started to land, did one of the stewardesses get on and do the whole upsell pitch?
Yeah, they always do that.
They always do that.
Right after the food, too. I think because, like, you fill them up with food and
Mm-hmm.
you make them happy, and then they do the upsell.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about their upsell pitch? I always listen to it.
I think they're like no annual fee for the first year, and then like I'm like, but then there's got to be a contract. You can't just take the miles, not spend money. Like, oh, all you have to do is put like a candy bar on it every month,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, that doesn't really seem like you're gonna make any money.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
They're gonna make money.
yeah, it's weird though. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a whole like year where you're basically giving them like 2 free flights, and they got to spend money with like as low as like a $3 transaction.
Interesting.
So it's like weird.
Well, if that's the case, that sounds like a good deal.
Well, yeah.
I don't think that's the case though.
Yeah, no.
I always, it's funny, 'cause I barely listen to the offer. I'm always listening to the copy. And just the language that they use is always interesting. Like one thing I know airlines do is they'll say things like, thank you for choosing to fly with American. We know there's a lot of airlines you could have chosen, and it means the world that you chose us.
Yeah.
All that's doing is it's like reaffirming like a commitment and consistency bias. Like you are someone that chooses American Airlines.
Yeah.
And we like that about you.
Yeah.
It's interesting
They're
things
probably
like
looking
that.
for like an LTV of some sort, because like if they get them on the credit card, they're going to use that for the flights moving forward anyway.
That's probably the play. Is like we'll lose money on their credit card, but they'll always fly American.
Yeah.
And we'll win that way.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Cool, man. Well, dude, you made it to California.
Thank God.
Yeah. So let's start here. For those that don't know who you are, can you give like a quick background on who you are and how you got here?
Yeah, so my name is Jason Wojo. I am a Facebook advertiser, marketer, speaker as well, and I basically run an agency that scales businesses with paid ads. I've been doing it for like 2.5 years, and now I live in Tampa, have over 80 clients that we service. I mean, that's really it. I'm 23.
You're 23. And so can you share revenue numbers of the business right now?
Oh, yeah. So, like, right now, we do about, like, 180 to 200K a month. And then also I'm starting, like, an agency offer. Because, like, I've been doing this for so long where I'm like, I might as well teach other people and, like, put into a huge mastermind. So, like, I'm going to get people to, like, pay, like, 5 to 10K for a program and then, like, upsell them to, like, a mastermind yearly. Just because I think that's, like, where my path is directed. I'm, like, kind of tired of client work. So I'm trying to, like, replace the income that way as well. So like that's in the works.
You're trying to replace or augment?
Well, just augment. Like if I can drop a good amount of clients with the money that I make from the agency offer, then like it would make sense. Like some clients are just like I was telling you about this. Like we'll get them a ton of leads, they can't close them, and then they come to me and they're complaining and blaming me when like I'm sending them really good leads. They're all qualified, and it's like I'm just tired of that cycle, especially in Slack. Like I have my assistant dealing with that. And she's like, I don't know what to say to her. Like, she's just like mad for some reason. And I'm like, this is just the way it is. Like, and we have a lot of good clients. We also have a lot of like ones that are just getting onboarded and they're just like really a hassle.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to systemize everything. I got the project manager, the assistant, and then I got the copy chief person. I'm trying to build out all these things to take less stress off my back.
Yeah.
But at the same time, though, it's like I can't control the emotions of the clients.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they have, like I have clients where if they have one bad day, they'll come screaming in the Slack chat. Like, we spent $500 on ads and I didn't close a lead today. I'm like, well, like that happens. Like that's kind of like business. Like I don't close leads every day and I spend way more than that. Like what the hell? So it's like, I don't know. It's just like a disconnect, I think, and like I'm sort of drearing away from the passion of it because like when I first started, it's a cool business model. Mm-hmm. It's like, this is the quickest way to make money. You service clients, you do the service, and then you just go on your separate ways. And the other thing too is like I got to this point with the agency model, so I feel like it's like my identity, and it's like that's just what I do. Like whenever people come to me, they're not like, oh, you can help me grow an agency. They're like, hey man, like run my ads. Like that's I want to get away from that. Because I know how to run ads and I can start a business and I can scale one, but like the clients just don't want to do half of the stuff I tell them to do. Mm-hmm. It's just like,
why replace the income instead of just replace yourself?
Well, I mean that's what I'm kind of trying to do. So like I'm hiring people, but like I still have to train them a little bit. Like there's still like little nuances, like where they don't know how to reply to a client. Like if a client says something about like something in the Google ad platform, she doesn't know the answer to that. So I have to like direct her for like, probably these next, I don't know how long it takes to like get somebody like really primed, but
I think you can get them 80% of the way in 90 days.
yeah.
The formula we follow is the first 30 days of the training, it's every day training, second month, 3 times a week, third month, twice a week. And typically by then, I mean, we've been running the system for not forever, but it's been effective. I think if you look at it with a longer time horizon, because like the same way your clients are like, we spent $500 today, motherfucker, and we didn't make a sale, bitch. Like the clients who are like that because they're looking at it one day at a time. Yeah. You also don't want to look at the training that way. You want to look a long time horizon, 90 days, 180 days. And I think if you do that, she might not know Google how to respond right now, but 180 days from now, she totally
like
could.
Also like she can see all the responses in Slack that I'll put, so she can kind of see my verbiage.
Well, are you also building some type of centralized reference library for everyone to tap into?
Yeah, so I make a lot of looms. I have them all on a Google sheet. Like she's actually like going in this Google sheet and putting stuff in there. So like she's probably will be a little bit faster. Like she actually cares a lot.
Yeah, see that's
like
what
really
you want.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's just that like some of the technical things like verifying domains and GoDaddy and stuff like that. Like I kind of have to help her. I'm like, hey, like you got to put this in the A record and like little things. So.
But when you're doing that, are you recording the teaching of it?
Yeah. Like we'll hop on Zooms and do it. I also have her like going in there and she'll like get the client on a Zoom and she's like practicing communication with the clients. Mm-hmm. She's now taking the onboarding calls.
Who is this person?
Her name's Jumana.
I mean, what was her, like?
She basically was a friend of a copywriter that I know. Well, they're actually dating. So like she's the girlfriend of a copywriter that I know. And okay. He was like, hey, like my girlfriend wants to get into this. She's like really good at admin work. She used to do this for like a tax office. And I was like, all right, like we'll try this. We'll give it a shot. And like she's actually like really attentive. She has a good tonality and it's like, it works out really well. Like so far, I'm not really that mad. I'm just like dreading the train kind of process. But like I know they'll pay off.
Yeah. If you realize you only have to do it once, then I think it's easier to do.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's this old saying, like, a man can do anything as long as it's not forever.
Yeah.
And I think I would just caution you not to, I don't want to replace this business because it's a good business.
Yeah.
Replace yourself in it and accept you might go down 10 or 20% revenue, but honestly, if you put the right person to drive that bus, they should be able to grow it better than you can. A lot of companies, what they do is the entrepreneur starts the company because he's the one with the idea and the energy and he wills it into profitability. But then when it reaches the next phase of its maturation where it's kind of established now, you need a different type of operator to do that. So like Richard Branson will start a business, and then when it hits phase 2, which is where you're kind of at, he replaces himself with someone who's great and knows how to take a business from here, not from the start, but from here to here, and he'll hand it off to them. Yeah. And that's, I think it's a really valuable skill. I know a ton of entrepreneurs who they start something, they make some money, and they get bored with it, and they shut it down, and they do it again. And it's like, if they just mastered the second skill of replacing themselves and some organizational know-how, and today they have one business that makes money, but if they had that skill, they'd have 6 businesses now that make them money.
True. Yeah. It's been like a good transition though, because I'm like, I have a team and it's like cool, but it's like a lot different than just like you run like an e-com store or whatever. It's like really easy.
Okay, guys, so we have a Cabernet from the Bordeaux region, okay?
The Bordeaux region.
The Bordeaux region.
Which region is that?
It's in France.
It's in France.
It's
okay.
in France. I know that.
You know, I lost a spelling bee when I was 13 on the word Bordeaux. I was so pissed.
Okay. Are you guys ready?
Thank you, Jay. Yeah. Yes. So, you know what we're doing, right? I'll explain real quick. So we're gonna anonymously taste 5 different wines during this discussion.
Okay.
And so this will be number 1. And there is a $10 bottle, 20, a 50, a 100, and a 500.
Okay.
And we're gonna try and guess which this is cheap versus expensive. We're gonna try and guess.
Okay.
So all I'm gonna do, we'll keep this private so I can't see yours, you can't see mine. I'm just gonna write just like that. So this is 1. Let's try this. It smells like wine. Interesting. You getting rich vibes or poor vibes?
It's not crazy strong. Usually if it's like a lot of money, I feel like it hits the back of your palate like pretty heavily.
It's a good word, palate. You sound like someone who drinks wine. I got it. It tastes a little cheap to me.
Okay, so wait, so which one is this called?
This is just number 1.
Okay.
Yeah, this is number 1.
So we just put the number next to the...
So put the price amount that you think it is next to 1. But don't let me see, because we're going to compare at the end.
So it's 10,
This
20,
was a solid pour.
So it's 10, 20, 50? 10, 20, 50, 100, and 500?
And 500.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Nice. What were we talking about?
Oh, we were talking about replacing me.
Yeah, replacing yourself. Okay, cool. I just think that's what you should do. Like my first business was that basketball business, and I sold that. So I got like some additional revenue from it, or capital, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. And that was good, but that was the best that I could do because it was a business that was relying on my face and my personality. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't replace myself, you know. I can't, like, my brother Jordan, who looks a lot like me and sounds like me, I can't put him in there and then be like, yeah, it's Jason. And, like, hope no one notices. Like, they're going to notice, right?
Yeah.
But with you, I mean, you have 80 clients in your agency. You could totally replace yourself. And all you should do is just the ads. Like, and
I like that part. That's, like,
fun,
my favorite part, which is, like, seeing what works. And just, like, I have a weird rush with, like, running an ad and being like, okay, this is going to work. Like, I'll sit there, look at the ad copy, and I'm like so addicted to it. It's like so bad. I know it's like, I can't do it all day long, but like it's just like something really intriguing to me. Like I've always enjoyed that.
So you just got a new car, and you tested it in your ads.
Yeah.
And what was the decrease in cost per click and cost per lead or whatever?
Like $2.40 a click, and now it's like $1.80, which is insane on Facebook.
What kind of demo are you targeting?
25 to 65 plus. Like business owners who are into like, you know, lead gen, marketing automations. Like I'm going for more of those keywords. I'm not going for like the Grant Cardone, Gary V keywords, because then I'm getting like
everybody,
right, and terrible people who just like want to make money online.
Those terrible people want to make money online.
Well, like, you know, like they'll get on the phone and they're like, how fast will I see results? And like they ask questions like that, and it's like, no, like I've trained the sales team at this point to be like, nope. We're not taking anybody.
You don't want to talk to those people.
Nope. Like, and also, like, we ask them questions on Calendly. So if they say, like, you know, for example, like, how much are you willing to invest every month to ensure results monthly with your ads? If they put 0 to 5K, I'm like, we're not talking to them. Yeah. Because that's, like, not even a lot of money. So it's like, there's nothing I can do with that.
Yeah. So $2.40 a click, different car. Now it's $1.80 a click. Yeah. So 25% decrease cost per click. Yeah. One change, a car. What car?
McLaren.
A McLaren. What color?
So I originally showed you the orange one.
Yeah.
But I wind up not getting that one because something went wrong with it and like they couldn't give it to me. So now I got a white one and it's way better. It's a Spider. So like it's a convertible.
That's dope.
So like, oh dude, it's so sick.
Are you loving it?
Dude, it's so sick.
And what happened to the Maserati?
I'm keeping that
okay.
just as like a second hand because I can't drive all the miles on that car. Like right now I'm putting a lot of miles on the McLaren because it's like I'm excited. Like everyone in the house was like, yo, like why do you keep leaving the house? I'm like, dude, I just got this McLaren. Like I'm trying to enjoy it. I'm like, It's like, yeah.
What? How many miles do you get a year?
It's unlimited.
It is unlimited.
So like I had to buy an unlimited mile warranty because like if I want to get something done, like say for example the transmission goes, like that's probably like 40 grand. I'm not paying $40,000 for a transmission.
Right.
So like they got that upsell. The take rate on that is definitely high. But yeah, I mean I could put as many miles as I want. The gas mileage is like it's pretty decent. It's like 16, which I thought was gonna be a lot worse. So.
Okay. And so tell me, what else has changed in your life since you got this McLaren? So cost per click went down. It's a good life-changing moment. What else are you noticing?
A lot of girls are going in my DM all of a sudden. So like that's.
So you got girls in the DMs now.
Yeah, it's been a little interesting. Yeah, they're like, "Oh, like teach me something," and I'm like, "That's not what you want." And it's like a passive way of just being like, "Hey, like, can I hang out?" or like something like that. So that's been that. I posted on Snapchat. I like all these old friends from high school.
Hitting you up.
Yeah, dude, it was bad. My Snapchat looked like a Christmas tree. It was terrible. But yeah, just like little things like that. I feel like it's just like another, I don't know, like people just get like so attached to things like that, and that's all they think that it's worth. Like, yeah, it's cool to have a nice car, but like at the end of the day, like it's not going to solve your problems. You know, it's just like there's so much other things.
It will solve marketing problems, apparently.
Yeah, marketing, that's it.
Apparently.
But like personal shit and like relationship stuff, no.
Of course. Yeah, the car is... It's just a car.
Yeah.
It's always fascinating to me, though, to hear stuff like that, because I used to have some cars. I haven't been in my DMs since, like, 2015, though.
Jeez.
Like, I'm not the one. Like, once in a while, it'll be me, but I'm really not in there. We also get thousands of messages a day. So I don't know what... It's just interesting to me for guys when they get a cool car, the girls who come out of the woodwork and start hitting them up and messaging them, and what kind of girls are you actually attracting with that? And I want to hear about that.
So now we have a Cabernet from Napa Valley. I'll go a little like this.
Trying to get slightly less drunk. Yeah. She's like, well, when I drink, boys, this is how I do it. All right. Okay. Cool. Cabernet from Napa.
Yes.
You like smell it before? Is that like a key thing or?
This is all for the look. I'm just like. I'm not smelling for a taste. I'm just like smelling.
Okay.
I like to smell it, and then be like.
This one smells a lot stronger.
Smells like a new official NBA basketball. The leather straight out of it, like Shaq's game used shoe is what it smells like. It smells like a new McLaren. That is good.
Yeah.
Damn.
That actually is really good. I like that one. That one definitely costs more.
You taste the difference, right?
Yeah.
The
other
other
one just seemed like too easy to go down. I don't know if that's like the real terminology, but like...
You know what's funny is I felt the opposite way.
You serious?
The other one I was like, this is gross. Get it out of my mouth.
It felt
but
like
this
water
one,
the last one.
This one feels like water to me. That's
What
fascinating.
the hell? Jeez.
God. This is my third time doing the wine guessing thing.
Now, were these the same bottles as the last time, or you get them different every single time?
Different bottles.
Okay.
Different bottles. But I have not gotten any better at picking up. Like we'll like,
$1,000 on wine bottles?
for the views, man. For the show.
Dude, that's smart.
So you post a McLaren. Girls hit you up. Be honest. Did you message them back?
Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah. I'm kind
Have
of
you seen any of them?
No.
Not yet.
No,
Are you planning on it?
Probably not. No. There's actually like there's one girl that I'm talking to right now, that like has nothing to do with the car at all. So like I'm kind of seeing if that's a viable option.
That's cool.
But, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to make a generalization, but it kind of feels to me like if they weren't messaging you and then you have McLaren and then they message you, those specific ones are probably...
They're not good leads. Yeah.
They're not... Well, you know, are you going for turn and burn or are you trying to build LTV with the customer? Right?
No,
it's just two different business
models. I'm like
models.
trying to settle down, to be honest. Not like settle down, but like I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like chasing that short-term thing is just like...
I think...
It somehow comes to an end and it's like... You kind of just get like tired of like the race of trying to convince every single person. Like when you do the turn and burn, you're always trying to convince. You're always trying to like play these games, and it's just like once in a while it's kind of fun, but then it's like it gets to a point where I'm just like, all right, I don't need to deal with this right now. Like
Totally.
it's a total time waster.
I think I think chasing anything is bad. Anytime you find yourself chasing anything, I think you're in a bad position. You need to stop. Do you know Eben Pagan? Have you ever heard of him?
No.
He's like an OG original gangster, internet marketer. He had a business called, it was David D'Angelo was his name. He was a dating coach and brilliant marketer. He's still around. He does a lot of other stuff. And in fact, I think he had the first squeeze page ever online. Like he was, actually maybe Dean Jackson was the first, but it was like that. And he, in one of his programs, he used to say, like, if you ever find yourself like chasing or everything's just not working, basically, just stop. Like, just fucking just sit on a couch or go sit under a tree and just fucking don't move for like an hour. Just like stop. Because all you're doing is you're digging a deeper hole for yourself in that moment. And that's what chasing feels like to me.
Yeah.
I know, obviously I'm not single, but when I was active. And it was a big epiphany for me when I stopped playing games and I stopped chasing. And it was very much like, I'm just going to be exactly who I am with everybody.
Yeah.
Whether it's a girl and I want to sleep with her, or it's the girl who's like, guac is extra at Chipotle. Like, I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
I'm going to act the exact same with everybody. And if they like me, awesome. And if they don't like me, awesome. Both of them are cool. And if they want to hang out with me, great. And if they don't, they don't.
Yeah.
And just really being congruent with that was just amazing for the mental health. But also, like, you attract such better quality leads as a result of that, too.
And that's like crazy part about this is that when we were in Charleston, Emad, who was the dating coach,
Yeah.
I actually did his program.
Okay.
So like me and him did the 8 weeks, and like I got a lot better at not getting attached to the conversation or like not feeling like I was committed right off the bat.
Yeah.
So like now I'm sending like, I know it's weird, but like I'm sending like 4-sentence answers, like mostly max. And like he said that basically like sending that is like a way to like make them think that you don't give a shit, basically.
Interesting.
So I've been doing like shorter text,
You know
answering
what,
as fast.
You know what's funny is when you said 4 sentences, I was like, that's incredibly long.
Yeah.
I'm like 2 words. We text. I mean, you see how I'm pretty.
Well, yeah, but you go in like a row. Like you'll go text, text, text,
You
text.
know why? So this is a chat closing secret.
Okay.
You want to text like a 14-year-old girl, not like an adult. So an adult, when they text, thought out, it's like a paragraph.
Okay.
A 14-year-old girl, have you ever seen them text? Because I haven't, but I've heard from other people.
Yeah, I haven't.
And it's like, but it's more like, send, send, send. It's just a bunch of like random, it looks like
That's interesting.
spontaneous thoughts. But what it does, if you get a novel from someone, are you like, this person put thought into it? Like they're attached to it.
Yeah.
But when you get these random, send, you're like, they're barely there. They're unattached.
That's a good point. Damn.
I also, for some reason, I find I think better when I can text that way.
Yeah. If you try to bundle all in one, then you're like trying to fit all the pieces into one.
It's like copy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you know David Sinek? He owns paleohacks.com.
Well, I know that company, yeah.
Big paleo site. So,
Yeah.
but he was my roommate 10 years ago, a good friend of mine a long time, but he was the first one who texted me like a 14-year-old girl. And I remember being annoyed at first. I was like, you just sent me 17 text messages, right? But really, he was on his computer on iMessage. Mm-hmm. And so he's like, send.
Yeah.
And he'd be a great chat closer. He just doesn't know it.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to start using that.
That one. 4 sentences, dude. How were you texting before? Now I'm super curious. We'll get to that in a second.
I was just like,
Okay, now we have a Pinot Noir from Italy.
Pinot Noir from Italy.
Gotta go light.
from Italy. I don't know, man. I think this might be the one.
There you go.
Pinot Noir. Do you know the difference between a Pinot Noir and like a Cabernet?
Not really. What is it? There's the smell?
It's the grapes. I think a Pinot Noir is sweeter. Dan, is that accurate?
Pinot Noir is usually lighter in color than it's a bit softer, and they call Pinot Noir the wine drinker's wine.
Okay. So snobby. So you got to drink it with your finger elevated. See? Instant snob effect.
That's good.
That's pretty rich.
Yeah. It's from Italy. As soon as she said Italy, I'm like, that's where like all like the designer brands are made. So I'm like,
So there is in Florence, there is an designer outlet. So I want you to imagine and it's in the middle of nowhere in Florence. So you got to drive like 45 minutes out of the city. And there's like 40 to 50 designer stores. Gucci, Louis, Chanel, Tom Ford, etc. All of them. But it's an outlet. So everything is 60 to 80% off.
Whoa.
So I was there a couple of years ago with Natalie, and we went. And it's amazing because Jen's like, I want to go. She's like, please let me go. But they bring busloads of tourists from the hotels to these outlets, like shipping them in. And it was like a lot of crazy rich Asians basically who were buying up everything. But we go, and this is when I used to wear more designer stuff, so we're like buying stuff. And we're at the Gucci store. Mm-hmm. And I see these shoes. And I'm like, Ryan McGinn would love those shoes. So I call him, and I'm in Italy. It's like 4 a.m. in Tampa where he lives. And he doesn't answer. So I call again, and it's like 4:10, and he's like, what? And I'm like, you need to decide if you want to buy $300 shoes right now. He's like, what? So I was like, I'm gonna send you a picture right now. I explained the whole story to him, and I was like, they're normally like $1,400. They're literally like $280 right now. And I think you'd love them. So he was like, yeah, I'll buy them. So I got them for him there. I was buying stuff for everybody because everything literally
Crazy.
60 to 80% off.
We had a place like that back in New York when I grew up. It was called the Woodbury Commons, and basically like they would have the same stores, and you go in there, and like they would have like the tag with the sale price, and like people would run in there. We'd have lines like going all the way to the parking lot to get inside Gucci.
That's crazy.
Because like the wallet was $400, and then it was like $170, and people would just go crazy.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
So where did you grow up?
I grew up in Newburgh.
In New York?
New York, yeah.
Where is that in New York?
It's basically like about an hour away from Manhattan, like upstate a little bit. Like a really rundown, like ghetto town. It's like really nothing there. It's like.
So give me the timeline a little bit. So you go to school there. Do you go to college?
So all right, this is a good lead in. So like I basically went to culinary school my first year.
Culinary school.
So I went to culinary school.
Awesome.
And I did nothing. Like literally didn't go to class. I hated school so much. Like I literally hated the fact that I had to go to class and learn shit that I would never use. And
wait, so you went for culinary. What kind of classes were you taking?
I was taking like culinary, English, math, like all the gen eds.
And you just wanted to learn about culinary stuff?
Well, yeah, because I worked at a cafe when I was younger. And then, like, my boss was like, hey, you might as well go to culinary school because you're going to know how to cook breakfast food. And I wasn't self-aware back then at all. I literally had no idea what I wanted to do in my life. I was literally lost. Like, I was just playing Xbox all day and just, like, doing stupid shit. So then...
Were you smoking weed?
No.
Okay.
I started smoking weed in college.
Okay.
And that's, like, when I kind of figured out how rebellious I was. Because, like, when I got to culinary school, I wasn't going to class. I was basically paying people to do my homework. Mm-hmm. I was paying people on Fiverr and, like, Upwork that were, like, VAs to do all the homework for me, take the online tests.
Private labeling school.
Basically, yeah. Now, that's, like, a crazy lead into later, but the only class I showed up for was, like, the chocolate chip cookie lab because I literally wanted to have the chocolate chip cookies. I was like, all right, I'll go to this lab.
Nice.
But other than that, like, I was just playing Mario Kart, partying, drinking, smoking. I was just, like, having fun because... I felt like I was so sheltered when I was a kid. Like, my parents always be like, oh, be back before 9. I'm like, there's nothing that happens before 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I didn't really have any food. So then I was bored one day at college, and I went to my trunk. I was driving, like, a Ford Focus at the time. And I found all these Pokemon cards. And I started flipping them on eBay.
They were your cards?
Yeah.
You just forgot they were there?
I forgot they were there, yeah, because I was just, like, bored. And, it was snowing there at Delhi, so I went to get my scraper. And then I found this box. And I was like, oh, shit, those are my Pokemon cards when I was a kid. So I started flipping them on eBay. So I was driving, like, there was, like, a little mountain. Not a little mountain, but, like, a big hill in Delhi where, like, you had to go from, like, the bottom where I was living in the townhouses to the post office. And I was going back and forth, like, 7 times a day, just shipping the cards. And then, like, I would drive to Walmart, and I would buy more packs. So I would literally do that all day long. Then go back at home, play Mario Kart, then just drink and smoke and party at night. And that was literally, like, my day. And then after a year, like, I basically just, like, dropped out because I failed. Like, I couldn't keep
Were
up.
you making good money from the Pokemon thing?
To me, though, it was a lot. Like, I made, like, maybe 20 grand in 3 months just like flipping cards.
To most people, that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
That's like,
so
dude, that's great money.
Yeah, so I was just
Yeah.
like, well, it wasn't all profit. It was maybe like 7-8 grand profit or something. I don't remember what the exact number was, but like I was just going back and forth. The people from the post office, they were like, oh, Jason's back, like he's here. And then I just got like really tired of like trying to like do the culinary thing because I wasn't even showing up for class.
So you dropped out.
Moved back in with my parents, and then I went to business school because I just put 2 and 2 together. I was like, all right, I like flipping shit online. Like, it's probably congruent for me to go to business school.
Okay.
So then I lived with my parents, went through business school, still wasn't really doing any of the homework because I learned that skill in culinary school, so I was just paying people, all that stuff. And then I was getting a couple of jobs here and there. Like, I worked at Staples, I worked at a life insurance firm, I worked at a financial firm, like, learning things and just, like, tasting stuff. And then I started to, like, I was working a lot harder than most of the kids in college. So, like, I started doing, like, stuff online. I started making videos and, like, motivational stuff. And then I came across, like, this brand called Hustle Island. And that's where I met my first mentor, like, Greg Berry. And he basically owned this company where we had, like, a free plus shipping offer. And we were getting people to buy this Hustle shirt. And we sold, like, 150,000 of these things. Our email list was, like, at, like, 200-something thousand people. And, like, I learned at that point, like, how to do all that. Like, the funnels, the emails, the ads. And, like, that was kind of, like, my luck when I started. Because most people who start in marketing, like, they don't really get the chance to, like, because Greg gave us his Amex card and he was like, hey, like, spend whatever you want. And I was like, what the hell? So, like,
On ads.
yeah,
On
he was
ads.
like,
not
spend whatever
like
you want.
go to Ruth Chris.
Oh, no. Like, so, like, at the time too, I was diving into that stuff because of, like, social media, making all the videos. And then I got the opportunity to, like, spend $2,000 a day on Facebook. And I was like, to me, like, my parents didn't make a crazy amount of money. Spending $2,000 a day, like, actually gave me anxiety. Mm-hmm. So I was like, dude, I'm literally spending this guy's money. Like, we're getting results, but, like, this is nuts. And that's where I, like, learned a lot. Like, I kind of maybe had, like, an edge up because, like, a lot of people who start don't get to spend that kind of money right off the bat. So.
And did he teach you ads?
Well, there was a guy at the time who I lived with, which was Troy. I think you know Troy.
Yeah. The email guy.
Yeah. And basically, like, me and him, that's where we first met. And we
were both
friends.
working for him.
Yeah, we were both working for
Got
Greg,
it.
and, like, that's where we kind of met each other, and we just, like, became really good friends. You know, getting on Zoom calls, like, we would talk in the middle of the night, like, just, like, talk about life and business, and, like, that was just, like, our relationship where it started. It's kind of cool thinking back to those times, but, yeah.
So you were buying ads for this guy. You guys selling shirts, building email lists and stuff. When did you go out on your own?
So after 11 months, we had, like...
Okay, now we have.
Oh shit! I didn't grade. Did you put down the price of the last one?
Yeah, I marked
I
it.
totally forgot. I'm gonna say that. Okay.
Okay, now we have a red blend from San Marcos, California.
A red blend. San Marcos.
San Marcos.
Where is that?
I don't know.
I've never heard of that city in my entire
And you're
life.
from California. She's like, I'll find out. I think it's north. Then
It's safe to say it's probably north.
it's probably north. Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, it's poor. That's some poor shit right there. Yup. That tastes like college wine Wednesdays. That's what that tastes like right there. It was like BOGO wine Wednesdays. That's what that tastes like. Woo! It's like rubber cement. So yeah, when did you go out on your own? How did that happen?
So basically, after 11 months, we scaled it to like $1 million in 11 months. And I've never seen that kind of money in my entire life. So I was like, damn, this is crazy. Like, I was looking at the ClickFunnels account and, like, active campaign. I was like, oh my God, this is nuts. And then he decided to, like, stop everything. We had this Facebook group where basically we had, like, 300 people in there. It was, like, 500, paying, like, $37 a month to, like, learn, like, marketing, entrepreneurship, like, all this, like, really, like, bullshit stuff. But
Why do you say that?
it was just like half the people in there like didn't even do any of the work. Like we would have live calls. Out of the 500 people, 3 people showed up.
3 people. Yeah.
It was bad.
It's
So
frustrating.
like he just kind of felt guilty and decided to end the whole thing. He's like, listen, like I can't do this. I can't sleep at night knowing that I'm taking $37 a month from these people. Like I get the integrity, but it was also like a money block because we were scaling. And I was like, all right, like what do we do now? He's like, oh, I'm closing the whole thing down. Me and Troy log in to his ClickFunnels. everything's gone. Active campaign, email list, delete. I'm like, bro, you have 150,000 emails. You know how much that's worth?
Yeah.
Like, why would you just do that? He's like, I'm moving away from internet marketing. I don't want to do this stuff anymore. I feel guilty. Like, and we have to stop this.
Was there anything else he was doing wrong? I don't. Maybe we don't want to put
Really?
anyone on blast on camera.
No, he doesn't even. He's like not even on the internet. Like he's like is against internet marketing now because like all these people put like do all the ads. They do all like the, copywriting. Like he's just like against it now. He's like, oh, I'm tired of like joking people into stuff. And I'm like that's.
It's. I always find that so interesting because I don't like. I see that subsection of people online who they make some fucking gnarly decisions and they do some shit they shouldn't do.
They like overextend. Like
they embellish. Some people fucking lie. A lot of people fucking lie. Usually, if I see someone come out and they feel guilty about what they were doing or about the industry or they're against the industry, it's typically a projection of some unresolved shit they have themselves.
Yeah.
Like they were doing it and now I'm done and therefore all of you are. So I always wonder like what else were they doing? Like I know a guy who normal online business, public, makes good money, but quietly behind the scenes makes, I don't know exactly how he does it, but does something with dick pills and makes an enormous amount of money with dick pills. I know that. And he's told me like there's a level of guilt that he has. So like my experience has been when I see people who have guilt about making money, basically, it's like if you feel guilty because you're making money, you're probably doing something wrong that you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel guilty at all about any of our businesses. I'm like super fucking proud about all our products and I love them. I don't think you feel guilty about what you do with your client.
No.
So like there's always something. There's something else.
I think it's because like they see all the money online and they all of a sudden get attached and they're like, oh, well, I don't have this amount of person's following, so I have to lie and like make this perception or like rent these cars and do all this stuff to get people to buy because I couldn't do it like from scratch. And I think that's a huge thing.
You mean that
they basically are trying to shortcut the doing of the work and like building an actual like asset and doing all this stuff. So they decide to like buy a bunch of followers and get a car and rent it and like make ads with it. And, like it's like their way of like saying, oh well, they can do it, so can I. I'll meet them halfway and I'll still make it big.
Yeah. So they want to like create a facsimile, like the appearance of, as opposed to the reality of. And
but it always comes to an end.
Well, you can like what's the saying? It's like you can fool some of the people all the time, but you can't fool all of the people. I don't know.
Yeah.
Basically, like that shit catches up with you at some point.
Yeah,
you can't like put it this way. How many D-Days have you been to? Like of our live events?
7 to 8.
Like 7 or 8, right?
Yeah.
Do I have any notes at any of those?
No.
No. I just answer. I just go off, right?
Yeah.
If you're faking it, you can't do that. Like you can't go into a room with a bunch of people for 8 or 9 or 10 hours for the day, have them ask you just questions about anything they want help with, and you just go deep with each of them and you answer and you help and coach and all that. Like you can't fake that.
Yeah.
You know? So I am very proud of like that we do because I mean, dude, in like the make money industry, there's a lot of people who have made most of their money teaching people how to do it as opposed to actually doing it themselves. Yeah. It's unfortunate. What do you think about that? Oh, we got an exhale before the answer.
Yeah.
This is going to be good.
Well, it's like the other thing too. Like, there's just things that like you pick up on as like observing these people, and it's like you can teach because you're regurgitating stuff from other people. Mm-hmm. I would rather trust somebody who's actually like built a real business and like has proof. A lot of these people who do like, especially like the trading stuff, they're like, "Oh, I'll teach you how to trade," and I'm like, "That's cool and all, but like maybe you're doing something that's really sketchy that you shouldn't be doing, and you're teaching other people how to do this sketchy thing. Like maybe you're using a certain software that's like really sketch, and like you're trying to get all these people into a guilt trip that you're getting these results, but realistically you're just like fucking people over. And it's like, and there's other niches too, like coaching, like the whole life coach and mindset coach stuff is like the most fucking crazy shit I've ever heard, because it's like you can't teach people about life and mindset unless like you've actually done something of the worthy of having a good mindset. Like a lot of people who are mindset coaches, they can't even build $1 million business, like, or life coaches. It's like, I get that you need to tweak like the brain to think a certain way, but it's like you haven't really done anything. Like, anybody could be a life coach now.
Well,
Everybody wants to be this coach.
The problem with that is there's probably a couple sticking points or symptoms or whatever that they can fix and help people with, but they probably can't help people with all of the symptoms that would present that they might see from clients, and that is where issues can surface. I mean, dude, it's worthy of a discussion. Like, do you know Taki Moore?
Yeah, I know Taki. Yeah.
Okay, so he's awesome.
Yeah.
Brilliant dude. If anyone's watching and is like looking at, like, you should work with Taki, he's amazing. But one thing Taki will teach is, because a lot of his clients he coaches coaches, people that don't know, he's a coach's coach, is they'll come to him and they're a coach, they're legit. Like, it's not biz op. It's people who are legitimately able to help others. And they'll come to him and they're making $8,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $15,000 a month or something in their coaching business. They want to go to 50 or 100, and they have imposter syndrome, right? So there's this dichotomy of, there's this swath of people who want to be coaches and make money as life coaches or whatever, and they don't actually have the know-how or the frameworks or the models to help people truly for that. But they're willing to, like, I don't give a fuck, I want to make money. Yeah. There's other group of people that actually know how to help people and have the experience and the models and the frameworks to do it, and they have imposter syndrome about helping people. And I find it fascinating. And what Taki will tell them is, his line is always, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. Meaning, when you're working with clients, you don't need to know everything. You don't need to be Tony Robbins. You just need to know a little bit more than your client. And then you are credible enough to help them. And I think it's valid.
Yeah. It's like even I do some coaching, and it's more like tactical. I feel like if I just sit there with somebody for 30 minutes and talk about life, it's like, could just went on YouTube and like search like motivational video. And it's like, I don't know. Like, most of the stuff, I try to keep it tactical to the point where they have like tangible results. Like fixing their landing page, tweaking their ads, like something that they can actually take with them that's tangible.
The part of the issue also is, like, when you're talking to someone, you're like, they could watch a motivational video. They don't need to talk to me about this. People have an innate need to feel heard and to feel seen and to feel understood. And it's one of our greatest human needs. And you can't get that from a YouTube video. You know, it's why, like, sometimes, I was going to say girls, but guys too, like, they just want to vent to someone. There's no outcome they want. They don't want a solution. They don't want to hear about your solutions. They just want someone to sit there and, like, let me vent for 10 minutes and I'll feel better. And that's what coaching sometimes comes out to for a lot of people. Yeah, I think it's really interesting. I said this on another podcast. I know a coach who, like, was a therapist and would get about $300 an hour for a session. Therapists changed their model. They're not a therapist anymore. They're a business coach. And now they get $750 an hour just by tweaking that one little thing with the positioning. So I don't know, man. I think it's interesting.
Yeah. And the market's like, the thing too is that the barrier to entry is so low.
Yeah.
It's like, anybody can just be a coach. Like, they could just go on Instagram, change their bio, and then all of a sudden they're a coach.
Let's talk about that after the wine break. All right.
So this is the last one. It's a Cabernet from Napa. Since it's the last one, do you guys want more, or we're good?
You could, yeah, totally. Gracias. A Cabernet from Napa. You buzz it all?
No, not really, no.
We gotta drink this fast then. Just kidding. Now I'm confused.
Yeah. That one's good. I feel like that's the $500 one.
You think this one is?
Yeah, I think it is. I don't know why.
It's so predictable, though, to make the $500 one the last of the five. Like, that's so obvious.
But it tastes so much richer. I don't know what you think, but...
Dude, I need to, like, think about this. Okay. So at the end of the show, we'll Jen will come back, and then we'll do the big reveal.
Okay.
I'm very curious to see. Yeah, man. The coaching industry I'll like, let me just like lay out what I think, like my general world beliefs or global beliefs about the coaching industry. I think you're totally right. There's no barrier to entry, so anyone can be a coach. I think with social media, it's so easy to present yourself as someone of expertise. Like if I wanted to, maybe we'll make a video just to show people, like we should go to Chipotle and we take someone who's working there. And I'm like, within 7 days, you're gonna be seen as a world-class coach. Like a guac coach, right? You're a guac coach.
Yeah.
You know guac is extra, right? It's like, yo, we've been doing this 15 years. We know, does anyone here not know guac is extra? Like everyone knows.
There's like t-shirts that say, I know guac
Is that really?
People walk in.
Yeah, it's fucking, like, dude. Like now when I turn on my, like the television at night, I watch YouTube at night. So you go there and there's YouTube, Prime, Netflix, all of it. And then there's a recommended movie. And it's been the same recommended movie for like 3 years. It is, what's the train movie with Johnny Depp where they're on a train? It's like a murder mystery. I've literally seen this 500 times and I still don't remember what it's called. But I'm like turning it on, I'm like, I know you want me to watch this fucking movie. Can you show me something else? You know, like I know the guac is extra. I get it. So anyways, so like we should take someone and be like, we're gonna take some cool photos. I'll give you some quotes that I got from, a quote website, and you'll say them out loud. We'll get some videos. And we'll put you in a few loop giveaways. It'll cost $3,000 total. You'll have 100,000 followers. You'll have quote videos, and then we'll have like a little funnel. And that would take 7 days. And people who landed on that page would think the guac server is a coaching expert.
Yeah.
So in a world where it is so easy to create, to manufacture expertise that doesn't exist, how does a consumer know what is actually helpful, what's legit, and what's not?
I feel like it's more about the social proof. Like you.
In what way? Because we could get a lot of followers to somebody. You can also buy endorsements.
That's true. So see, that's a good question. I think the one thing that separated me was the video testimonials versus text and like things that you could tell were forced. Like there's videos online where you can look at a testimony and be like, that was forced. That's paid. And other ones that are genuine. Like that's where when I get testimonials, I'll ask the client to like do a loom and show the numbers instead. Because then it's way more authentic than just like having them stand in front of some white wall in their house and they're just like, oh, Jason did this. And it's like, that could be so forced. You can go on Instagram and just send like a cold DM and be like, hey, I'm paying people $100 to shoot a video with this script in the Google Doc. And it's like, I feel like a lot of people do that. Like I've been hit with one of those DMs. Like, hey, I'm paying people to do these like...
People do that?
Yeah. They're like, oh, I'm paying people $50 Cash App to, you know, do a testimony with this script. And it's like, damn, like people are really doing this. And it's nuts.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, so it's like, how do you know? The thing I don't know who told me this years ago, but they said, look for someone who is prolific. Prolific meaning they produce enormous amounts of content. And so there are like hours and tens of hours of them speaking and talking and writing and sharing about the subject matter. Because like I said, like you can fake it in a short, like the Chipotle person, like we can fake it in a short period of time, but if you put them on the spot or a long term, they can't create, like you need to be an expert to produce hundreds of hours of content about a subject. Like there's no other way you can do it, right? Like the Eskimos, for instance, right? They have, I think, 7 or 8 words for snow, right? We say snow. We have 1 word. They have 7 or 8 because they're experts in it. They have all these little distinctions that they've made that normal people haven't. And so a true expert, I think, has all kinds of little distinctions that an amateur, just someone who's just kind of dabbling, wouldn't.
Yeah.
I think it's about being prolific. Like, for instance, do you know the story of like Max Planck and his chauffeur? You ever heard that story?
No.
It's in Charlie Munger's Almanac. Have you read that book?
No, I've never read that.
You should read that book.
Okay.
Charlie Munger's, I think it's called Poor Charlie's Almanac or something. Munger, obviously Warren Buffett's business partner, who tells a story in there of Max Planck, who was this famous scientist in the early 20th century in Germany. And Planck would drive around Germany and give these talks to the local people or scientists or whatever. I don't know who's attending. So he'd go from city to city, and he had a chauffeur who took him from city to city. And back then, they didn't have TikTok and Instagram, so a lot of people didn't know what Max Planck looked like. So they go to, I think it was Munich, and the chauffeur is like, listen, Max, dude, I've heard you give this talk 40 times. Let me give it tonight. Word for word, I got it down. He's like, all right, fuck it. Right? So they go to Munich, and the chauffeur is giving the speech on like very in-depth science-related subjects while Max Planck just sits in the, I don't know, somewhere in the front row or whatever. So he gives the whole talk, and no one notices. Everyone's just like applauding, like this is a great speech or whatever. And he goes, all right, now it's time to open it up to Q&A. So someone in the audience stands up, asks a question. Chauffeur has no fucking idea how to answer the question. So he asks the question, and the chauffeur goes, you know, in a city as advanced as Munich, I wouldn't have expected such an elementary question. I'll let my chauffeur take this one. And then Max Planck stands up and answers the question, right? But the idea that, it's a funny story, that Munger points out is you want to have Planck knowledge, not chauffeur knowledge. Chauffeur knowledge is I can go shallow and I can make it sound like I know what I'm talking about. Planck knowledge is I fucking know this shit by the back, like the back of my hand. Yeah. And I think that is the difference. And there's a lot of noise, man. It's getting harder and harder to cut through the difference.
Yeah. And that was like the one thing that I took with my stuff was like posting the content. That made a huge difference for me. Like right after, I remember the one day I asked you, I was like, yo, should I be posting a lot every day? He's like, no shit. And I'm like, all right, that was a stupid question. So then I started posting. Like now we're posting like 5 times a day on Instagram, and like it makes way more money.
Yes.
Because like when they see ads, they click the profile and then they look and they're like, all right, is this person legit? And then they see that I post 5 times a day and they're like, holy shit, like this is every day.
Yes.
And like that's the other way to go upon it, which is like the social proof and actually doing it.
Yes.
So that's a good
You're
point.
prolific, right? Yeah. You're posting 5 times a day. That is prolific, right? Gary posts over 100 times a day.
Dude, it's so nuts.
100 times a day. You know who I'm like so impressed by their marketing and just their relentlessness is Fashion Nova.
Dude, they post like 20 times a day
like
on their feed.
20. It's fucking every hour.
Yeah.
Fashion Nova posts. Jen, do you follow Fashion Nova?
Yeah, I know Fashion Nova is like huge.
Do they like? Because I don't follow them, but like I go on there and I'm like, what I like to do is I like to reverse engineer people's cadences. So I'll go to a page and I will create a little spreadsheet about them, and I'll go through like a month of their posts, and I'll try and figure out what their posting schedule is like. Mm-hmm. What do they post? When do they post? What types do they post? What's their? Because there's a cadence behind all these brands. At Fashion Nova, I was like, I can't build a sheet about that. I'm gonna have someone else do this. This is insane. Like over 20 times a day, they're posting on the feed. And if you look at a lot of external pages, meme pages, or just big pages, there's a Fashion Nova link in most of their bios. So Fashion Nova's paying for that real estate also.
It's crazy.
It's awesome. I'm amazed by it. I was on the phone with a dude 2 days ago who he owns a lot of pages also on Instagram, big pages. And on most of their pages, he posts 35 times a day. He said 35. I was like, you mean like a week? He was like, no, a day. 35 times a day. Right, so the reason I'm saying all this, for anyone listening, is like, it's free to fucking post. Yeah. Everyone is so afraid of, I'm gonna lose followers if I post too much. You know, well, you will lose followers, you're right. What game are you playing?
Yeah.
Are you playing the game of I want to hold on to my followers, or are you trying to grow? Because you can't do both.
Yeah. Plus, those people who don't want to see all the posts, they're gonna unfollow. They're not gonna be buyers anyway. It's like,
well, but that's what I'm saying. What game are you playing? Because a lot of the people who I hear this from, they're not selling anything to their audience. They're selling sponsorships and shout-outs. So they do need certain engagement metrics and they need followers. But like, if you're putting out good content, posting more content should get you more followers, not less followers. And if you're losing followers by posting more, you should probably change the content you're posting. Yeah. I don't know. That's just how I look at it.
No, I mean, I agree, yeah. I mean, most of the content that we use now is just repurposed from events and stuff. Because like, that's what literally, as soon as I left Charleston, I was like, we're making a free event. And then I got 20 people to show up at my house, and I was like, holy shit. It was crazy, dude. And then, like, we used that content for who knows how long. And then I have another one this weekend.
Hell yeah. Is it here? Or
no, it is back in Tampa, yeah.
Beautiful.
So, like, I'm just doing that every single month now.
Yep. That's it. That's the move. You do the free event, and that content is your content for the next month, and then you just do another one.
Dude. So dope.
It's really good. Yeah, that was big for us. We started doing the D-Days, and it was because of the pandemic. How were we getting content before the pandemic?
Out on the streets.
Just like man on the street stuff? But that was it. Is there...
Interviews, high status summits.
Yeah, like the summit.
Keynote. You did more keynote.
Yeah, I still see
yeah.
content from you at those high status summits. You have so much content from that.
There's so many.
Dude.
I mean, we did like... I remember the first summit I ever did was January 2016. It was when I was still a dating coach. It was like my last dating coach event. But it was our first summit, and it was at Caesar's Palace, 225 guys in Vegas. And I'd obviously been a dating coach. I was a dating coach in person, like 11, 12, part of 13, where I would take guys out on the streets, and I was doing that, and that fucking sucked. And then I was like, I'm going to productize this, and I'm going to turn it to an online business. So from like 13 to like 16, that was like the core of my dating coaching online part. And so I had all these customers, but I'd never seen them. You know, like they didn't have Instagram. Like fucking Instagram wasn't even a thing then. So I didn't know what to expect. And so we have this event, and I'm in the green room, and Natalie went out there to like take a look at the crowd or whatever, and she comes back, and she's like, everyone is dressed like you. I was like, what? They all look like you. Like your haircut, they're wearing your boots. I was like, oh, this is...
Shit.
So I go outside when the event starts, and dude, everyone looked like me. Like I had a very distinct style that I taught when I was a dating coach. I was like, here's what you
I
do.
saw your hair back then.
Well, the hair was another thing. You know why the hair was like that? It's pure laziness. I was just like, I don't like getting my hair cut because I can't do anything productive while it's happening. So like that was I just like let it grow. But like here was like what my like it was like, if you want to get laid, here's how you dress. This was like my prescription. Leather boots, like tall leather boots, like big ones, make an impact, right? Slim fit jeans, white t-shirt, scarf on the t-shirt, leather jacket, a couple bracelets, maybe a necklace under the shirt, maybe not. That was like, if you want to get laid, you wear this outfit. So everyone at the event was wearing that. It was.
That's fucked.
That was awesome.
Well, yeah, it's awesome.
I'm like,
It's also
boom,
like-
yeah. Like,
No, you're looking at
everyone's getting laid at this event. You're in
looking at
Vegas.
them and you're like, what the hell? It's like clones of yourself.
I was totally cool with it. I was, from an ego perspective, I was gratified.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Nah, I feel you.
But it was different. Like, listen, people look at the pickup artist industry and the dating industry with a very judgmental eye. Fuck these guys. Think they're using tricks to manipulate women into having sex with them.
Yeah.
The reality of these guys is they're good fucking people, and they've been rejected brutally by women, and they're in pain and they're traumatized, and in the short term they want to take the power back. You know what? Women have fucking brutalized me. I want to be able to influence them. You know, I want to take her from her boyfriend. I want to do these things because they're in pain. Long term though, they're good fucking guys, and they want relationships and they want to help. Like, they're good people. That whole industry just gets a bad rap, and it's unfortunate because honestly, I was talking with a friend of mine. So I'll give you some interesting data here, and this was the conversation. So I've been testing affiliate offers to our email list, like biz op offers, like low ticket clickbank type offers, right? And the offers that look like marketing, that look like a VSL, that look like how to make 6 figures by doing something simple or whatever, 0 conversions. Not 0, but like very low. The ones that look like a job application, super high conversions. So I go, why is this? The dream isn't selling, but like earn $20 an hour from home as a virtual assistant. Crushing. Why is that? And I told my friend about this, who's a brilliant marketer, and I was like, what do you think? And he was like, dude, he was like, everyone is just like giving up hope. Whether it's the pandemic or whatever else, he's like, I think they've just given up hope, and they just want to make fucking $20 an hour from home if they could. Like, that would be good enough for them. Yeah. And it's so different. It's super interesting. The other thing he said though is, he's like, look at the pickup industry. He's like, there is no pickup industry anymore. They killed it. He was like, for every guy, it's just like, just be a loser and die. That's your. He's like, that's the message they're getting, basically. Because I was like, holy shit, he's right. Like, there is no pickup industry anymore. In 2014 or 15, we're talking fucking 6-7 years ago, this was a giant industry. Lots of guys, like millions and millions and millions of guys. I would have guys who were successful entrepreneurs and CEOs and millionaires who would come up to me in like green rooms or hallways or whatever and just be like, dude, I follow your shit. It's fucking awesome. And I'm like, wait, you're worth like $30 million and you have a wife and you follow my stuff. He's like, yeah, dude, like my relationship with my wife has gotten so much better. So like the market, it wasn't just like virgins and losers.
Yeah.
It's like successful. It was all kinds of people. That whole market is just, it's like poof, it's evaporating.
Yeah, I don't really see a lot anymore about like the whole like pickup girls and that kind of niche. It's completely gone.
It's like fucking gone.
Yeah.
And
Because you know why I think? I think it's because all the biz op shit, they think that the biz op is going to solve their problems. They think that making the money is going to solve their problems. Did you ever think about that?
I get, but BizOp was there before. Like, it's always been there. To me, I think it's, I mean, I can tell you for me why, like, this isn't why I stopped, but it was part of it, is the Me Too stuff. The Harvey Weinstein, and then they started going after every guy humanly possible. There was one guy who, like, he got canceled for DMing a girl. Like, it got ridiculous. What the hell? And so I'm like, well, listen, I'm not doing anything wrong, but I say some shit in my videos, like my YouTube videos. I say some, like, I'm just going, right? And I'm not serious about half the things I say. I'm just joking, but they don't care. They can take anything out of context. And so that wasn't the number one reason, but it might have been like 3. Like the third reason was like, I don't want to fucking have to deal with any of this stuff. This is crazy.
That's crazy. Holy shit.
And I sincerely believe, so like there was that. RSD was one of the biggest companies. They might have been the biggest dating company. And one of their coaches had a whole thing with the media. Do you remember that? There's one of their coaches was named Julian. And he said some things at like a seminar about, I didn't see the video. Honestly, I didn't pay that much attention to it, but I think he said something about like when you're in bed with the girl, some girls like when you put your hand here. And it was, I don't know exactly what happened, but the media fucking jumped on that. And it was on the news in Australia and America. And he got banned from countries, right? Which sounds awesome, to be honest. Yeah. But he got banned from countries. And do you know, are they even a company anymore?
I don't think so.
I don't even know what they're doing. All my friends who taught dating, they don't do it anymore. One guy I know still does it. But the whole industry is just like, it's like gone. And so what you have though, like, I'm on TikTok. Mm-hmm. I talk to 16-year-old guys and 18-year-old dudes. Like, I talk to them and I know what their comments are. Like, I see it. They need pickup more than anyone has ever in the history of civilization.
Because all the apps now, Tinder and Bumble and all this shit, it's like the instant gratification of getting that girl to like you, but then they're like, wait, what the fuck do I do after this? And that's the thing.
And in person.
Yeah.
I'm so used to coming to a screen, but put a human being in front of me and I'm fucking terrified.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you've been to 7 or 8 of my D-Days. Like, look at all the videos we put out about porn.
Yeah.
It's fucking, like, they need it more than ever, and there's no one providing that content to them. And it's just, it sucks. I wish there was a better way. I feel for them. Honestly, if there's any like 15-year-old listening to this or 18-year-old and you're socially awkward or whatever, and you can't find pickup advice on the internet or whatever, go read The Game by Neil Strauss. Like, that is the first thing that you should do. It will help you a lot. Have you read that book?
No, I'm not.
Okay. You should read it. From a marketing perspective, it's fucking eye-opening. Do you know what it's about?
No, I have no clue. Oh.
It's called The Game, Penetrating the Secret Society of Pickup Artists. And it's written by Neil Strauss, and the idea is Neil he was a writer for Rolling Stone, but he would go to he'd write an article on Tommy Lee. So he'd be backstage with Tommy Lee, and he sees all these girls all over Tommy Lee, and he doesn't know how to talk to him, doesn't know how to do anything, and he's so awkward. And so there's this guy named Mystery, who's this amazing pickup artist from Canada. And so Neil signs up for a workshop with Mystery, becomes his friend, becomes an apprentice under him, and spends a couple of years like learning the whole world of pickup artists and gets good at it. And then he wrote a whole book about his transformation with it. It's a fucking amazing, it was a New York Times bestseller. It's an amazing book. But like, dude, the world's changed so much. I wonder if the game, if it came out in 2021, if it would even be allowed to come out now. It's crazy.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
You have like so many book ideas. I'm like, damn, I don't even read that much. I don't know why I don't.
Where do you get your information from?
Honestly, I've been a trial and error kind of person. I kind of just learned through like fucking up and then just learning from it. I know it's probably like not the best way to do it, but I don't know. I'm more of like a, if I want to learn something, I have to like do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I learn the nuances as I'm going through.
Mm-hmm.
Because then it's like more tailored to like my body and my mind.
But at the same time, like you hired the guy from Charleston.
Yeah.
See.
True.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not just all trial and error.
Because I was bad at the whole like texting plus like dating ideas. I was terrible at like figuring out what to do with women. Like once I get them hooked, what the hell do I even do? Because I was like growing up, dinner, movie. That's what I was told, and I'm like that's the most boring shit you could do. So like,
what's interesting is you're asking yourself the question like, what do I do from here instead of what do I want to do? It's weird that isn't the question because that's the question I think you should be asking.
Like what I want to do is like I like going jet skiing. I like doing like stuff like that. That's like a little bit off balance, but like some people have said to me, "Oh, well, that's a crazy first date because you're spending the money and you don't even really know the person." I'm like, I feel like I'm gonna get to know them more if they do something that's like actually requiring like some type of physical activity. Mm-hmm. Like jet skiing is probably fun. Plus, it's like a little intimate because like if they don't have a license, they gotta hang on my back. So it's like.
But think about this: if you end up connecting with them and building something long term with them, you're gonna want to go jet skiing again and again and again because you enjoy it. And so you're gonna find out very quickly on the first date if there's someone that this could be a long term thing with or not. Yeah. Which is like, it's just crazy. Like. The programming that's happened in all of us, like why wouldn't you be asking what do I want to do as opposed to what do I do?
Because you think about the other person. You're like, what do they like? And that's why like the whole texting part of like trying to find out like what makes them tick. Mm-hmm. And you're like, all right, like what do they want to do?
But think about this. If it's a girl and she met a guy in Bumble or something and you guys are connecting, you maybe talked on FaceTime and it's cool, and you ask her out and she's like, yeah, let's do it. Most of the time, like, girls want a guy who's going to take the lead, who's just like, yeah, like here's what we're doing. Here's do this, this, and this, and bring that. Like,
yeah, I got like a lot curious with the liners on that. So like I'll say because I like going jet skiing, like that's like my thing. Also, like I like scootering. Mm-hmm. I have like a second scooter, so like if the girl wants to come and scooter on the beach, like you can see the view and stuff. I don't know. I like stuff like that. I like wind in my face. I like being in the water. So I'll say something that like has two meanings. I'll be like, just be prepared to get wet, and like that's just kind of like it's like a double way of like.
That's really funny. Yeah, I like that. It's just like, if there's any guys watching this, I think that the greatest thing they can stop doing is being uncertain in the presence of the females that they like. I think they should be a lot more certain, a lot more of a leader, and be prepared for her to disagree or whatever, or get rejected, and that's okay because some will like you and some won't. But as long as you're leading on your path, it's such a simple example. But there's this guy in the pickup community who used to say, like, listen, if you want to go see a movie, buy the ticket to the movie. And then if you want to invite a girl, invite her to the movie. But it's not, do you want to go see this movie? It's, I'm going to see this movie. Do you want to come with me? Mm-hmm. And if she says no, you should still go to the fucking movie.
True.
Because you're leading your own life. Mm-hmm. And that is, to me, is what is attractive. Yeah. That is not what is attractive. It's what I believe women will find more attractive than the guy who's like, well, I'm not going to go to the movie if you don't want to go. What do you want to? Dude, the most fucking... I have a YouTube... I don't know if we've taken it down. We probably took it down. There's a YouTube video from my dating coaching days where I was at the gym at Equinox. I was living in Marina Del Rey in LA at the time. And I'm Equinox parking garage underneath. I parked there, so I'm going back to my car. And there's this couple who are like 10 feet away from me, like pacing me at the same time, walking somewhere. And I can hear them. And as a dating coach, I thought I had the right to eavesdrop on everybody. Yeah. So I'm listening, and the guy's like, so where do you want to go for dinner? And she's like, I don't know, where do you want to go? He's like, well, I don't know, where do you want to go? She's like, I don't know, where do you want to go? And he's like, well, I don't know, where do you want? She's like, can you please just pick a fucking place? And I'm listening to this, and I'm like, yes, can you please just pick a fucking place, dude? Like, there's just... There's masculine energy and there's feminine energy. And females can have masculine energy and males can have feminine energy. And one's not better and one's not worse. Everyone can have, like, we all have both in us. It's the yin and the yang. We have both of that in us. Masculine energy makes a decision and goes down that path. Feminine energy is more about filling up space with things that are pretty and beautiful and relating and connecting and emotional, and they work really well together. But if you have two people and they're both in feminine energy, which is more indecisive energy because it doesn't want to make decisions, it wants to experience life, it's a recipe for disaster. It's also just unattractive. I want to ask you some questions though about marketing. Okay. So, how much money have you spent on Facebook ads in a lifetime between yourself and your clients?
Probably like 10 to 15 mil.
$10 to $15 million.
Yeah.
And in spending, let's call it $12.5 million on Facebook ads, what has been like the one or two biggest takeaways you've had for succeeding in advertising?
It's all about the offer.
The
The offer has to be sexy. And it's like, the other thing too is like the creative. So like the creative doesn't have to be crazy good, but it's all about the first line and the background. So like there's a lot of people who will make ads, say for example, like you're someone who wants to help people become a sales closer. Or someone who's talking about, I can book out your calendar, but they're recording ads and their background is a wall. Like it's a balance between congruency and the offer. It's like when I tell people to record video ads, like you have to be congruent in the first like 5 seconds, not even 2 to 3. So like if I'm talking to people who want to book out their calendar, I should probably have a big ass screen behind me with a booked out Google Calendar. Like that kind of congruency. And people are like, oh, well, I recorded my car. I'm like, you don't have a Lambo. It's really not going to really help us that much. So it's like, it's all about the congruency and then the offer. And the offer being something that causes less friction, something that is solving a massive problem, and something where there's specificity. So like with you, it's like, you're testing 2 to 3K a month, 3 to 4K a month, like which one's working better, and you're testing these things because it's specific. If I just said, scale to 10K a month, so many people fucking say that. And it's like, even though they think that that's like the end goal that everybody wants is just 10K a month, like if you were way more specific, you would get so many more people. So that's like in headlines and stuff, like, copy. It's like if I were to talk about how many people I've helped, I'm not going to say 100 plus, I'm going to say 137 people because that's going to convert way better. So like little things like that. And
when you say the offer, so can you give an example of like one of the best offers you've ever ran ads for?
One of the best offers. The best offer that I've ran is press. Like getting published in articles within 24 hours. Because if I say get published in press, first off, there's uncertainty. What am I getting published in? Like, how strong are these news outlets? But then the other side is like, we tell them what they're going to get published. So if I say, get published in Forbes, Entrepreneur, and Bloomberg Business Week within 24 hours, it's one of the offers that I'm running right now for a client. That crushes. Because it's the instant gratification of 24 hours. And it's also like the actual articles themselves, like those are very powerful outlets. Now, yes, are they expensive, but they're still going to get a ton of people, like to book a call and qualify.
It also requires no effort from the buyer.
But if you said get published within 30 days, the offer's dead. Because 30 days, that takes too long. That's why like some people will sell, Instagram verification. And they'll sell that and they're like, oh, like it'll take us 60 to 90 days. Like their conversion rate's so low because like people just want that shit this week. Like the most I'd be willing to wait for that is like maybe 14 days. Because it's like if I pay, like I might not see this thing until 90 days later. It's not that you're being cheesy or that you don't have money. It's just that like you need to move the needle on certain shit and I just need this thing done right now. So that's why like the time frame plus what they're actually getting. Like for example, we do a lot of credit repair. So we'll say like, this XX credit booster has allowed like 7,314 people to increase their scores by 107 points within, 14 days. Like that's sexy because it's like they understand that it's a financial instrument and that it's like you can't just beat, Experian and all these companies really quickly. It takes time to send the letters and all that. So like that offer will work because it's specificity and like it's a good time frame.
Okay. So what do the worst offers have in common?
The worst offers. Got me on the spot. The worst offers is when a client will tell us that like the results can't come within 90 days. Like those long time frames of anything.
Time to
it's
result.
All about the time. Like we had a client who's doing like a sales closer thing. It's like, oh, I could teach people how to be a sales closer and get them like a gig within 45 days. I'm like, all right, that's okay. But I'm like, hey man, like how many people have you worked with? Like, do they always get a gig? He's like, yeah, I've never had somebody. So I'm like, all right, we got to put a guarantee on it. So now I'm like, okay, what we're going to do is this. We're going to do 45 days, but they're guaranteed, or they get a full refund plus $2,000 for wasting their time. And he's like, oh, dude, I don't know if I can do that. I'm like, dude, you just told me that you've never let anybody down. So you have to put your money where your mouth is. You're going to get way more booked calls from that offer. And it is. It's getting way more quantities.
That's a good guarantee. So the opening line of the ad and the congruency, the contextual stuff, what's going on, the offer, the guarantee.
Yeah.
Those are the three of the biggest
Plus,
things.
like, the ambiance, too. So, like, when they record an ad, it's like, where is the setting? It's like, for me, like, when I'm running ads, like, I should have an ads manager behind me, or I should be in front of a car. Because ads is like, people think it's a quick fix. They're like, all right, I'll just click publish and launch and I'll make a ton of money. But that's the perception. I can't change the way people think. I've kind of came to that rationalization that I'm just going to not try to make this long ad about how this analogy relates to ads and how I'm going to change their mind. Because then the click-through rates are lower, and it's like, I've tried that whole analogy thing and like leading in with something where it's like, you know, for example, I have someone who is our client who is making ads about how, you know, oh, ads are like iced coffee. It's good in the beginning, but then you realize there's so much ice in it that it ends so fast. And it's like, I'm like, dude, stop trying to convince people that like that's the duration or rationale behind ads. Like, it's literally all they want to hear is that you're going to use ads to scale their business. That's all they want to hear. And if you have a lot of followers, you have a following, you have results to back it up, you have video testimonials, like that will do the work for you. Like, let other people sell you. Because at the end of the day, like if you're running ads from a personal brand, like people just want to be around you. Like, people don't buy from me because of Wojo Media. They buy from me because of me. Like, they see the content, they see the car, they see that. And it's like, do I want to have to perceive people with a lifestyle thing? It's like, no, like I get it. Like, sometimes it's like kind of weird, but at the same time, like it makes my ads get better clicks. So it's like, I'm just going to live with that.
I don't think there's anything wrong with the lifestyle stuff, as long as it's real.
Yeah.
You know,
I know people who like will rent cars and do it. I'm just like, dude, that's like so, no. Like, I just won't run that. Even if they pay me, I'm like, dude, I'm not going to run this because like, that's not your car. And I don't want you going around telling people how good the ads are doing and that's my name. And like, I just don't want to deal with that.
To me, it's like renting the car isn't the problem. It's pretending like it's yours. That's the problem. Like, if you're going to rent a car for an ad, awesome, do that. And then in the ad, say, this car is rented.
Yeah.
And I
People
did it.
don't do that.
And I did it to get your attention.
Yeah.
And you can say that, and it works just as well. I don't know why people don't do it. It also builds trust. You're disclosing stuff about yourself, which is always a disarming way to communicate. It's super interesting, man. So you have a journal. Tell me about it.
So it's basically like a planner for entrepreneurs. I did a lot of research on a lot of planners like before I made it, and like it's a very lucrative business because the margins are high. Because like it only cost me like $2 to make, but like I'm calling the official planner of entrepreneurs. I'm eliminating all the fluff from all these other planners. Looking at these ones like Clever Fox and all these companies, like they're asking like 40 questions every day, and I'm like that's cool, and like you want to bring over value, but like for real entrepreneurs who are running a real business, like asking that many questions, that's way too overwhelming.
Well, at some point, you gotta like really finish the questions because it's time to go to bed.
Yeah.
And you gotta answer the questions again tomorrow, and you need to make sure you get good sleep for that. That's kind of the issue.
Yeah. And then there's the task, and then there's like the reflection. I was like, you know what, like I'm just gonna make it 4 questions on each side. On other planners, it's like, you know, like how much do you weigh today? I'm like, all right, like this is just too much. Like, what's the weather? I'm like, all right, this is just like you're going on every app on your phone. You're also getting into the dopamine effects of the phone. It's like, I don't know. I just didn't really see like the value in that at all.
So what are like the key principles behind your planner that make it different?
I'm basically just getting out of the whole like fluff thing. Like I'm eliminating probably 80% of the questions and subbing them up in a way that they like stay track on the most important things. Like eliminating the whole procrastination, putting their goals into mini goals. Instead of just having like this goal of like, hey, I want to make 40K this month. No, like, all right, what are the tasks today that you have to do to get that done without just putting it every single day? Make 40K a month, make 40K a month. It's like, what is these 10 things that you have to do today that are going to allow you to move the needle more? And then the next day, it's little tasks. They might be setting up a software. It might be getting on a call with this person. It might be like little things so you're not overwhelmed. because I feel like just like a lot of people get this goal in mind about like making a certain amount of money, and they just like they focus on just the money and not the little things that are combined into that. So I kind of want to like eliminate that overwhelmness and fluff of it.
Okay. So what's next?
The agency offer. I'm trying to scale out the planner, working with that, the ads. They're doing okay, but not crazy great.
For the agent?